In the last section, we updated our season display component to show an icon. At present, our component, or at least the code for it, is really not looking too good. Let me tell you why. First off, as we mentioned, we have these two basically duplicated ternary expressions. So I think that we could probably do a better job of deciding what text and icon to display rather than putting two ternary expressions in a row. Now, the other thing inside of here that's a little bit awkward is that we assigned the name of the icon to use to a variable called icon. The result of which was that down here, when we actually display the icon, we had to do a string template where we said icon, icon. And I don't know about you, but that's just a little confusing. I think it would have been a lot better if we had a variable name like icon name or something like that. Now, rather than just changing that name right now, I want to kind of refactor this entire thing so that we can get away from these duplicated ternary expressions. And then we will worry about also updating the icon variable name as well. Now, the refactor we're going to do here is going to show you a pattern that we're going to use in many other locations throughout this course, and it's a pattern that I hope that you will use on your own personal applications as well. The idea is that we're going to create a sort of configuration object at the top of the file. Let me show you what I mean. At the top of the file, above get season, I'm going to create a new object called season config. This is going to be an object with two key value pairs inside of it. The first will be summer, that's going to be an object, and then we'll have winter, and that will be an object as well. Notice how the keys inside this object match up perfectly with these strings that we are returning from our getSeason function. I didn't name these something different. I didn't do something like capital S summer. I named it specifically summer like so. So now these two objects right here are going to tell us exactly what text and what icon name we should use if it is summer or if it is winter. So if it is summer, we'll say, let's hit the beach, and I'll designate an icon name of sun. Now notice I forgot the apostrophe in there. If you want to put the apostrophe in, you could either escape it, or you can replace the single quotes over here with double quotes like so. So then we can do the same thing down for winter as well. I'll say text is, for it is cold, and I'll give it an icon name of snowflake. So now that we've got the season config object put together, we can remove both of the ternary expressions that we have down here. To get at either of those season config objects, so essentially this thing right here that tells us the text and icon name for summer or the text and icon name for winter, we can then reference back down inside of our component season config season with square brackets like so. So that's going to return our object with the text and the icon name inside of it. So then we can use a little bit of ES 2015 syntax to pull out that text and icon name and then very easily reference those properties inside of our return statement. So no longer are we going to have those really long kind of duplicated ternary expressions. All the different options are very plainly spelled out right here. And if someone ever needs to come back to this component and update the text for summer or the text for winter or update the icon name, it's going to be very easy for them to do so. All right, so down here, we're going to destructure out the text and icon name from season config at season like so. And now down inside of my JSX, I can refer to icon name and icon name. All right, so without a doubt, that is a big improvement to the legibility of this component right here. This looks pretty darn reasonable. Now, if we flip back over, we see that our component still works as expected. Cool. All right, let's take one more quick break. When we come back to the next section, we're going to make sure that the icons show up appropriately, and we'll also add in a little bit more CSS to this thing as well. So quick pause, and I'll see you in just a minute.